He may arguably be one of the best middleweight champions of all time. He even has Marvelous in his name. Yes, I'm talking about Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And tonight, he is the subject of our Superbout show. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Bernstein. Happy to welcome you here tonight, and happy to be telling you that we will be featuring two of the best knockout wins that Marvelous Marvin Hagler ever had. First, we'll take a look at his second match against Mustapha Hamsho, a big knockout win, and then the classic match with Tommy Hearns. The first match with Mustapha Hamsho that we'll be looking at is actually his second meeting with Hamsho. They first fought in the Rosemont Horizon just outside Chicago a few years before their 1984 match, and it was a brutal mismatch. Hagler dominating the fight, had Hamsho bleeding, had him in all kinds of trouble until it was finally stopped in the 11th round. Would it be different for the second matchup? Hamsho certainly hopes so. Let's take a look at Mustapha's record as he headed into the second match with Marvelous Marvin Hagler. You see he had strung together some wins that kept him in the hunt as a contender in the middleweight division. The big win there being that victory over Wilfred Benitez, a former champion. That kept Hamsho right in a position to challenge. For Hagler, he was busy defending his crown. The big win there, of course, over Roberto Duran. Then he came up against Juan Roldan, won, but had some trouble in that match, and that may be probably the only thing that gave people an idea that Mustapha Hamsho could come back and beat Hagler. Hamsho, after all, had the same rough and tumble style, and because Roldan had had his moments against Hagler, Hamsho thought, this might be my time. Perhaps Marvin Hagler is slowing down a bit. To find out what really did happen, let's go back to Madison Square Garden in 1984.
This bout is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, the boxing commissioner, the Honorable John R. Branca. It's approved by the World Boxing Association and the International Boxing Federation. The WBA supervisor at ringside is Alberto Aleman of Panama. The three judges are Eva Shane from New York, Harold Letterman from New York, and Vinny Rainoni from New Jersey. Two physicians at ringside are Dr. Earl Slaw and Dr. William Latham. The timekeeper is Freddie Albatello, and counting for the knockdown seconds, Tony Perez. The referee for this championship bout is Arthur Mercanti from New York. But now let's get ready to rumble. This is it. 15 rounds for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. Introducing first in the red corner. He's wearing green trunks and weighs 159.5 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one. 38 victories, only 2 losses and 2 draws. 23 by knockout. He's formerly from Syria and now from Brooklyn, New York. The #1 contender in the world, Mustapha Hamsho. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in the blue corner, wearing blue trunks at 159.5 pounds, his record, 59 victories, only 2 losses and 2 draws, 49 by knockout from Brockton, Massachusetts, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
So Marvin Hagler always wanted to fight at the Mecca of boxing, as he calls it, Madison Square Garden. Still has a great aura, a great atmosphere here, almost a capacity crowd. And he's always looking, he's always wanted to be acclaimed as one of the great ones. Arthur Mercanti, the New York referee, giving the breakdown.
We expect you to obey these instructions, and I will be here to enforce them. Shake hands now. Return to your corners to await the starting bell. Good luck.
So that's where the nerves start tingling now. Just handshakes all round over there in Hagler's corner. A very tight-knit team, that, with the Petronelli brothers. So the return battle then underway. Undisputed World Middleweight Championship. Marvin Hagler, 9 defenses. And Hamsho, tough as old boots in many ways, outpointed Alan Minter in an eliminator to first fight Hagler, but he was stopped in 11 rounds in a really bruising battle at Richfield near Chicago, which I saw. And they're trying to say that Hamsho now can improve on that score. I'm not sure that he can. We'll soon find out. You can't really teach an old dog new tricks. He's brought in Al Savani, one of the most experienced, over 70 years old trainer. Says he's going to try and bob and weave, get inside the long arms of the southpaw Hagler. But he really is one of the all-time great champions. He always just does what he wants to win. He doesn't always get involved as much as people would like him to, Hagler. He didn't in the Roberto Duran fight. But unbeaten for 8 years, it takes a bit of doing. And he's not very keen on that, Hagler. He doesn't want to be pulled onto punches. He's known for his rough tactics, Hamsho. He learned his boxing, of course, in America, Hamsho. He's just recently become an American citizen. He jumped ship to get here and had to be taken to Canada to come back again legally. And in fact, he was a guest of one of Her Majesty's prisons for a few days. When he was 17, he did the same thing in England. Tried to jump ship and stay there. Immaculately turned out for this fight, Hagler. And he says, I'm not taking it easy with this fellow. I feel very mean, very serious, he said before the fight. Often wonder whether world champions suddenly sort of run out of ambition. He wanted badly to fight Tommy Hearns to make really big money. Hearns is here with us at ringside. But this was the official challenger, Hamsho. And we've got to wait until after the fight to see whether the World Boxing Council are going to withdraw their recognition. But in any case, it's for the World Boxing Association and the International Boxing Federation Championships. 15 rounds. And certainly judging from the first fight, Hamsho boxing with a little bit more caution, and maybe he's been listening to the new training tactics. He normally fights with his face a bit too much. Hagler's not going to like this if it's roughed up. He's already appealing to the referee, and he's talking back there to Hamsho. Stop holding. He should have his mind on other business. Let the referee take care of that. And now Al Serto's having a row with the referee, Arthur McCanty, saying stop listening to what Hagler's telling you. Hagler definitely, Al Serto, the manager of Hamsho, is asking to talk to the commissioner. He wants this stop that Hagler's talking to Hamsho. And he's cut there, Hamsho. I think that's one of the objections. He's claiming he's been butted. Let's have a look at replay. You see, they're both bumping heads there. And that's where the objections came. Let's have a look at the overhead camera. It was Hamsho who came in first with his head. It looks like he's caused his own cut.
Bend the punch when you make a miss.
So the New York referee, Arthur McCanty, got a job on his hands here. It's getting a bit ill-tempered after only one round. So now let's see if in the second things quieten down a bit. I don't think they will. First round was fairly close, really. There wasn't too much going on. I suppose you could say Hagler might have stolen it, but that was about all. There are cynics in the fight game. I've often said that Hagler's strictly a front runner. He likes things his own way. Well, so far he's had most things his own way. One of the unusual things, we've got a lady judge here tonight, Eva Shane. 3 judges vote, the referee doesn't in the WBA, and the 3 knockdown rule is in effect. It means if any one boxer goes down 3 times in one round, he'll stop. Oh, and at that point, when he stood square on and tried to slug it out, Hamsho, he almost paid the penalty with that because Hagler picks good punches when he's countering. Hamsho's unbeaten since he last lost to this champion. Decision over Wilfredo Benitez. And knocked Bobby Cheers off the pedestal. He looked like being a good fighter. So he really deserved the number 1 spot. But he's quite badly cut. It looks as though it's on the top of the nose, the corner of the eye, Hamsho.
Watch your head!
Definitely going to be a rough one. The heads are getting a bit rough, and McCanty reminding him of it. I'm not sure. It's more of the style of their fighting than really being deliberate, I suspect. Because last time they were both cut badly. Hamsho obviously worse than Hagler, but Hagler had quite a few stitches, which is very unusual. Oh, referee risking it a bit as he goes in there. They're not breaking on command. He looks as though he's got to physically do it. The leading right-hand punch. That's Hagler's really chief one. He looks as though he might be out of distance, but he isn't. He's got deceptively long arms. And the crowd echoed that one. They knew that right hook right above our commentary position there caught Hamsho on the chin. Better round for Hagler. That's Al Savani there, working on that cut. Close friend of Frank Sinatra's, who advises in all the film sets, but this is for the real thing. They're using the adrenaline on Hamsho's cut. So there you go in the replay there. You see how fierce this is getting. It's a rough fight. So you can just see some blood smeared there in the replay on Hamsho. And that was the right hook that the crowd rose to. We're into the 3rd round. And it looks to me like a repeat of their first fight, where it's going to be all bruise and battle and swing and hope from this strong fella, Mustapha Hamsho. And Hagler trying to outsmart him and obviously outpunch him. Bit of shoving with the shoulder there. Oh, and the head. Oh, that was a bit obvious. He'd get a good transfer for a centre forward for a team that needs one. Bit unusual if we saw a disqualification in a championship fight. Hagler would like to keep this fight at long range. He doesn't want to get... You see, that's where he's so good, with the longer punches anyway. And getting inside with body fighting, well, that's Hamsho's turf.
Stop holding, Hamsho!
Well, this ring's pitched on the ice rink at Madison Square Garden, but it'll take a lot more than that to cool this one down.
Stop holding and hitting!
Stop holding and hitting, says McCanty. Hasn't got much style, Hamsho, but he's a wearing down fighter, but the right hand right on the chin there. He softened him up earlier with that one. The toughness is not being related to winning as far as Hamsho's concerned. He looks as in trouble. It's 7-8. He's making it clear. He's getting the mandatory 8. But he is definitely in a lot of trouble here, Hamsho. And Hagler can do it in the 3rd. So all the pre-fight tactics haven't really paid off. He's got to get in there and try and slug it out. Hopefully take the play away a bit from Hagler now. But I doubt if he can do it. Almost losing his trunks too. If Hagler picks his punches now, actually pot shots, he can't miss Hamsho, I should say. Just on instinct now. Hamsho, it's all he's doing. He went 11 rounds last time, but he won't be able to do it here, I don't think. He's floundering. Oh, on the right hand again. There was almost a delay as he went down. Al Certo, the manager, says no more. He's in there. A compassionate act there by the manager. And the referee couldn't understand why he came in. But I hand that to Al Certo to get into the ring because he could see Hamsho had it. And that's one of the most complete victories, really, for Marvin Hagler. No wonder he officially calls himself Marvelous Marvin, and is entitled to do that. 63 fights now. This is his 64th, his 10th title defense.
Well, it was tough luck for Mustapha Hamsho. He lost to Hagler again, and really, for him, the crime is that he came along at a time when Marvelous Marvin Hagler was the middleweight champ. You can see by Hamsho's style, and even this probably wasn't his best moment in boxing, that he would have done better against champions before Hagler, like Hugo Coro or Vito Antuofermo. His style would have matched up better with those fighters, but Hagler, with all his skills, was simply too much for Hamsho. Mustapha would go on and continue to be a middleweight contender for a while after that, but never get another title shot, and certainly never win a championship crown. For Marvelous Marvin Hagler, this fight was a prelude to a very special moment in his boxing career. And when we return, we will take a look at what might be 3 of the best rounds in the series that I have looked forward to for some time. We get to take a look at the April 15th, 1985 match between Marvelous Marvin Hagler, the undisputed middleweight champ at the time, and Tommy the Hitman Turns. Tommy came into this bout, you'll remember, as a WBC super welterweight champion, and it was a match that was really looked forward to at the time. There was so much hype leading up to this match. Perhaps the only question was, could it live up to that hype? But I think most people felt it would, because after all, you had 2 warriors going into the ring against each other. What about Tommy Hearns leading into this fight? What was he up to? Well, he was defending that super middleweight crown against the likes of Freddie Hutchings, and he was also beating Roberto Duran with a big knockout victory. And it was really that win that they made this fight possible, because Hearns showed the kind of power that people thought it would take to beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Now, for Leonard, he had to erase the stigma that people had going against him, that perhaps he couldn't win the big fight. His only loss to this point had come against Sugar Ray Leonard, and many believed that in the big fights, Tommy Hearns just would not be the boxer he was under other circumstances. For Marvelous Marvin Hagler, of course, this represented a chance at a very big payday. He had been denied at that point the chance to fight Sugar Ray Leonard because of Leonard's retirement, and so he needed an opponent that could lure fans and lure the big money, and that certainly was Tommy Hearns. And they were ready to produce what ultimately would end up being a classic struggle. So when we return, we will take a look at what really turned out to be one of the best middleweight fights